Hello Libra, this is going to be your 2024 forecast for Sun, Moon and Rising. Now I am going to be taking a card for each month of the year, so you can return back to this video at any time next year to see where you're at and what's coming forward for you. I'm also going to be doing a cross of truth to show me and to tell you where your trajectory lies, the kind of things that you might be repeating, the themes of what's working for you, the challenge and the outcome. We'll get a theme for the year and also an oracle card for the year. So let us begin. Please remember that energies are non-gender specific, so take what resonates and leave the rest behind. But let us get you a theme for the year, Libra. Ooh, we'll take the first one. Fulfilment. We've got a moon in the background over there and a ripe peach ready to be plucked. So this is going to be a very fulfilling year for you. It's going to be a lot of things coming to fruition, things that you've been perhaps working on for quite a few years, perhaps cycles, spiritual cycles that you've been revolving or perhaps experiencing repeat patterns on. It feels like you're coming to the end of that and you're seeing the fruits of your labor. Okay, so let us see. We're going to get a card for each month of the year. Bear with me while I lay it out before I go into the reading. I'm not taking jumpers, I'll be cutting the deck. Okay. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then we're going to do a cross of truth here on the side. Okay. Foundation, desire, what's working in your favor, challenge, and outcome. All right, Libra. Okay, I can see where things are definitely finding fulfillment for you. We've got quite a few closures coming up and some transformation over the course of the year, and these will be quite big because obviously it's over a long period of time. Now, starting off in January, we have the Knight of Wands. So it feels to me that you're starting the year off with a bang. Okay, you have soared to the skies and you have a very clear vision of where you want to move forward. The dragon is also a very auspicious creature, and it does provide quite a lot of luck, but obviously it also breathes fire, right? So fire is one's energy, it's momentum, it's divine masculine energy of pushing out and making stuff happen, having that motivation, having that drive, just getting stuff done. So this is action orientated. So I feel like you are going to be extremely busy in January. You kind of hit the ground running, and this could even be in matters of the heart, even if you're feeling like you want to put yourself out there, out of your comfort zone, you're wanting to sort of meet more people, you want to kind of get cracking really, really quickly. Very excitable energy. Okay, now as we move into February, we've got the Ace of Swords. So in all your workings, you're recognizing something is coming to light. Now the Ace of Swords is typically kind of the truth serum card, okay, seeing something from a whole new perspective. And sometimes the Ace of Swords is a new perspective, it's truth coming to light. But occasionally it can be like a double-edged sword. So it could be that you are, in one aspect, you might be driving forward with your charisma, but on the other aspect, it may be that you're not maybe receiving the recognition that you're looking for. Okay, so sometimes when we're not seeing that in our external world, it may be that we're not kind of seeing it within ourselves first of all. Now there could be this energy of it's weird because it's like all the kind of work that you're doing in January, all the kind of excitement that you're getting involved in, it has a little bit of a tendency of to maybe not look at the detail. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's coming up a little bit later. So it's almost as if something is slightly maybe overlooked or hasty in the beginning, and then the truth comes to light in February. Now the truth over the course of a month could show up in many different ways. It could be the truth of your situation, okay? It could be looking at your financial statements and kind of going, okay, where do I stand? Or looking at the relationships in your life, and something is really kind of shining a light on something that you've not seen before. So it's quite big. But remember, it is truth, okay? So there's no denying it. And with the double-edged sword that I was picking up on, there's a good aspect to it and a sort of a slightly negative aspect. It depends which way you look at it, but ultimately you cannot deny the truth. When we move into March, we've got this Five of Pentacles. So we've got this energy of feeling a little bit left out in the cold. Maybe finances aren't really panning out the way you would like it to pan out. Maybe the efforts you've been putting into something, you haven't been in the receiving mode. But with the Five of Pentacles, it always asks you to ask for support, particularly when we're feeling a little isolated and a little kind of excluded to some degree, okay? It could have been that in the beginning of the year, everything that you were driving forward in January and planting seeds for, it could be that maybe it doesn't pay off. Maybe it's not going to give you the dividends that you require, okay? For others of you, if you have sort of thrown yourself into friendship circles, a new relationship, any of those sorts of things, it may be that you're not receiving the same equivalent in return. So fives in numerology talk about obstacles, challenges really, as how we deal with the challenge. So when a person feels isolated and alone, you can either choose to remain in that state, or you can choose to reach out and ask for support, okay? Equally, if it was in a financial situation, equally if it was an emotional situation, if you have started the year with a bang and an exciting relationship or friendship with some people, it could mean you could find maybe in February, oh, I didn't have the full truth of the situation, I didn't realize the whole aspect, and then come March, it may be that you are feeling a little bit kind of disjointed. You're not getting the same energy that you put in, okay? Even though you might be asking for it, you may not be getting the same way, okay? I'm not worried about that because we've got a lot of positive cards coming up as well. And ultimately, what you're driving for is fulfillment. And sometimes we need to experience those challenges to understand what fulfills us within. Sometimes we don't always know. It's not always so easy to just put a label on something and expect that if society considers it as a successful or happy situation, that we should too. So sometimes we need to explore these for ourselves to rectify within ourselves, is this fulfilling within me? And that should be the question you should be posing, asking yourself the entire year. Does this fulfill me? Does this fulfill me? Okay? Having gone through that in the first quarter of the year, then you move into the King of Swords in April, okay? So now, having gone through this, you're standing in your power, right? This is your energy here, the King of Swords, and you're kind of going back to basics. You're going back to your natural essence of how you almost accumulate data, right? How you can get your head around something, how you can get your heart around something, how you can get your... And it's all about the nitty-gritty. It's all about looking detail orientated. It's about focus. It's about gathering your intel, and it's funny now because King of Swords keeps coming up in all these readings, and I mean there's only 12 cards here, but it keeps showing up for everyone. So I think people are going to be very on a global aspect, quite speculative and quite detail orientated. I feel like it's really, really important that you gather your facts and your figures, okay, maybe even statistics, and maybe even need to reach out to some sort of level of authority, some sort of expert advice, okay, to add to your own energy, to really make sure that your foresight moving forward is has had a second pair of eyes, okay? Any contracts you're dealing, any legal situations, I feel like, particularly if you felt that you were dishonored or mispaid, or you were waiting on something that you didn't get something back, and maybe that was a truth that came to light. Come April, I see you gathering your resources, evidencing things, okay, to know how to pave for the future, okay, because following that in May, we've got the World card. So this is where we have the fulfillment coming in quite strong. This is victorious energy. This is like graduation energy, okay. The World marks the end of a huge cycle for you, and it feels to me a cycle that you've been operating in for, I would say, a number of years, like two years. You're coming to the end of something. Now, it could be even to the degree is quite simply as you've been paying off a debt, and then that, you know, completes in May. But there is a lot of celebration to be had, a lot of reflection. You've learnt everything you can within that level now. There's no more learning. So you have graduated from that cycle, particularly if it was a cycle that was on loop, you know, on a pattern. You kept seeing repeated patterns. You're closing that cycle off. And as you do so, you actually end up in a very strong position, because from moving from that, you move into the King of Pentacles energy in June, okay? So in June, you're in a very strong and stable position to now plan ahead for the future, okay? Something that is quite solid, quite stern, relying on good old hard work measures. Maybe you even are deciding to do some gardening and grow your own vegetables, you know, that sort of thing. But the King of Pentacles, make no mistake that he is a leader, he's a natural leader. But the things that he does, his approach to things is kind of old school, in the sense of slow and steady wins a race, planning for the future, making sure that whatever you plan, you're not too stringent and you have some wiggle room, so that if something doesn't go according to plan, you've got a backup plan or backup plan. So for example, if you were looking at investments, it wouldn't be putting all your investments into one pot. It may be a kind of a slight spreading, a little bit here, a little bit there, so you get your fingers in a bit more pies. But it feels to me that come mid-year, you are really in a better position to plan for the future, okay, and have a bit of a stronger foothold in it. It could also be that for some of you, if you have dealt with kind of a romantic situation in the beginning of the year, if it was new in the beginning of the year, fairly newish, and if it fizzled out for any reason, I see that this could also be somebody else coming into your life in sort of the spring, summertime, if you're in the northern hemisphere, sort of June time, okay? Male or female, doesn't matter. It's really about the energy, and the energy is a really strong, solid person, right? Does what he says, follows up, doesn't kind of gloss around the edges, isn't kind of got a hidden agenda. Male or female, doesn't matter, right? It feels like that's not only the energy you're embracing, but definitely someone around you could be you could be sharing that energy with as well. Because if you embrace the energy of that, what happens is you actually attract this similar vibration, and you start to surround yourself with kind of leader figures. You surround yourself with people on your level, because if you surround yourself with people that either push you down or not very successful, and you're desperately wanting to be successful, it's you're kind of keeping yourself held down. So having completed a cycle, you definitely you start off strong. Now usually with the Major Arcana, you end on the World and you begin at the Fool card, which is a number 0, which is like the egg, the potential. So it isn't even a number 1, it is the place where you gather your energy in creation to create that new beginning. And you're not sort of starting again, you're seeing the fruits of your labor, particularly in May, and there's a change coming up as well, don't worry. You're seeing the fruits of your labor, you're seeing the come to roost, come to harvest, and as a result of that, you've sort of stepped up a level, which is really nice. Now, as we move into July, having created a bit of a solid foundation for yourself, you start to allow yourself to be a bit dreamlike, fantasy-like. We've got the 7 of Cups coming up for you, okay? And in this particular card, the lady is snoozing, she's fantasizing, she's got lots of options to choose from. So whatever you've completed, whatever major cycle you have completed, come May, couple of months later, you're going to enjoy the opportunity to sample many different things that you would like to try. So for example, if you've completed something, say for example it's a relationship, you may decide you want to do some traveling and meet lots of people and sort of kind of widen your scope. Or if you've finished a job or a big project, even if it's a home development project or property buying project, you're now ready to sort of play with new ideas, and there's many different avenues you can go down. Don't worry if you're feeling confused. The beauty is that the beauty is that you've got the choice. So you are toying with different ideas, and it's all still kind of up in the air. Of course, if you are fixated on choosing one, always choose the one that's more exciting than anything else, right? Rather than the safe measure, because safe is never always safe, right? It just makes us miserable, and it doesn't always, is not always reliable either. So you might as well do the thing that excites you, because then your vibrations rise. So July is going to be a bit kind of like dreamlike quality. Of course, you could be going on holiday as well, and you can allow yourself just to let go and take some of the pressure off. Now, as we move into August, okay, now we're closing something up, and this is something different to the cycle. The cycle was one element, it was a bigger theme that was kind of repeating itself in your life. And to give you an examples of themes that are on repeat, it could be in having relationships where it always ends the same way, or having job situations where it doesn't matter how many times you change a job, you always end up feeling like a toxic environment at work. Or health aspects, you know, it's something quite big. So that's separate in May than it is in August. In August, you start to, you're very close to the end of something. We've got the 10 of Wands over here, okay? You're ready to bring home the harvest in a very different light. Now, this is usually work related, okay? But it's that moment before you can breathe a sigh of relief. And usually what happens at that final point, you've got that final push to do. Now, it could be that you are holding on to quite a lot of burdens. Perhaps you've got a lot of responsibilities in August, and you are very close to reaching your goal and releasing some of those burdens, okay, because it's been a bit of a heavy road. Now, the heaviness is really kind of, it doesn't feel huge. It just feels like it's in something that you've been slogging away for, or slogging away at rather, right? The 10 of Wands is fulfillment, right? Because it's a 10, meaning it's the end of a cycle and at the beginning as well, because 1 plus 0 is 1, right? So it's the beginning as well. So you have a full completion. It's not, you've just got that final little stretch, just a little last, you know, walk across a bridge and you're there. You can take down your heavy load. You've brought home the harvest and you can enjoy, okay? But it is that last little stretch. Now, as we move into September, we have the 7 of Pentacles. So now, and we've got fruit again coming up, like the fulfillment card. Now, you've had the fulfillment with the World card, having closed the cycle and having celebration of that. You've had another fulfilling card with the 10 of Wands, and completing something that's been kind of ongoing, a bit of a sore in your, you know, thorn in your side, that sort of energy. And then we move into September, where you have the 7 of Pentacles, okay? And the 7 of Pentacles is all about kind of looking at what you've created, going back, reflecting, assessing and evaluating whether what the energy that you put into something, whether it is returning back to you. Are you reaping, with the 10 of Wands having returned home, now you've got the harvest, you brought it home, now you spend the following month kind of going, okay, was that worth it all? Or was there something that I could have worked a little bit more economically? All those hours I put into that, I didn't really see anything come out of it. So then moving forward for the next season, because the 7 of Pentacles is all about, once the harvest is brought home, you've got to plant more seeds again for the next season. You've got to keep it basically rolling, okay? So you really are looking at your crop, so to speak, and deciding within yourself, maybe I should change things up. I'm going to shave a little bit off over this. I'm going to add a bit more energy in there. Maybe I'll just add a bit more investment in that regard because I know that that paid off. This could be relative within work. It could be relative in home, friendships, romantic partners, family members, health. Okay, you're really sitting back and taking a good hard look. Maybe having worked so hard and you're feeling a bit kind of a little bit exhausted, you know, at the end of August, having carried that heavy load and released it all. Perhaps you're now thinking, okay, well, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit fatigued. Let me have a look at my health situation. Let me get a full medical. Let me join the gym or practice some meditation. And you're starting to look at ways to help yourself move forward in a health aspect. And this can be mental health, emotional health, physical health. Ultimately, it's spiritual health, right? Because this is my only kind of eating card, really, and I'm really drawn to the fact that she's eating the seed to grow the tree of life within herself. But she has grown that tree behind hers. She's reaped the rewards. She can feed herself with it, and it has this kind of recycling aspects. The more you put in, the more you get out. The more you put in, the more you get out. And so you're really having a good hard look at all of that in different aspects of your life. Having looked at all of that, come October, you recognize that something's now, that season is over. Okay, we've got the death card, in which the death card talks about transformation. Now, sometimes it can be a little bit of a painful experience, right? Particularly if it's a little, even if you were sensing that something was coming on, you realize and recognize that the way things have been now needs to shift. So if, for example, you were taking a good hard look at your finances, your friend circle, your business connections, whatever it is for you that's strongest, right? And it feels like it bleeds into all avenues of your life, by the way, because we do experience a theme from multiple perspectives. That's how it works, right? It's not always really from one. So having done the assessment work, you recognize, that season has come to an end now. I need to think about stepping it up and transforming. And it can be quite painful because with transformation comes a symbol of the butterfly, and the butterfly goes through the chrysalis phase, and it's, you know, essentially the little the caterpillar's body just dissolves and melts, and you can only imagine they're quite painful. And there's a process, there's a time, a kind of a gestation time before it kind of bursts out and now has wings to fly, you know. So whatever change you're making in October, know that it is going to make you fly. It's going to step things up. It's going to be a very positive transformation, even metamorphosis. You might be changing your sense of style even, right? You may be changing your area when you live, your business. There's definitely, it's not a complete brand new beginning, but there's a morph into something else. And it's a game changer for you. Now, this gives you high spirits, right? Because as you move into November, you feel a little bit renewed. You feel a little bit rejuvenated. We've got the Queen of Wands over here. Now, the Queen of Wands follows her sense of spirit, follows her drive, but with a sense of authority. She doesn't accept no for an answer. She's got luck on her side. She's willing to give her all, and she kind of expects everyone else to do the same. So you've kind of moved to the next level of this. You're kind of fired up in a sense of your confidence, your self-belief, okay, feeling very attractive as well. People are kind of coming to you, they're admiring you at this time as well, because they've seen the shifts that you've made. There was something that was going all right and was, you know, bravo, that was okay, and then you really put your spectacles on and you took a very, very close look on the situation, and you decided, you know what, it's good, it's not good enough. And that's where the transformation happens. And as that happens, you feel uplifted, you feel self-assured and self-empowered in November. It's fantastic. As we move into December, we've got the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords basically says that you may feel a little bit trapped within the mind-body. Okay, now in this card, sometimes it can be a self-deprecating energy. You could be worrying about something, and the worry seems to me, what it really is actually screaming out to me, this particular card for this reading now, is that the thing that you're worrying about is not going to actually hurt you. Okay, it's more of like a mental niggle, like an irritation that keeps kind of getting to your mind, where you believe that you cannot move forward, like you cannot take that confidence that you were feeling the previous month and push it forwards. Part of that has got to do with the natural ending of the year and how things slow down, and so everyone else is slowing down and you're only getting excited and started up, right? And that could be really frustrating, so it makes you feel like you're trapped. Okay, there's also this element of, if you've been worrying about something, that something's going to harm you, I don't feel like you are going to be, because there is, she's walking through these swords, but she's not, there's a very clear wide path for her, and she's covering her eyes, so she doesn't really know where she's going, right? And all she could do is just do this. But even if she were to keep her eyes covered, she would probably still be all right. Okay, she wouldn't be harmed by the swords. There's plenty of space between the swords. So what this is talking about is there's another way, another perspective you could be viewing this situation. For example, if it is that thing of feeling like you're rearing to go, and by the end of the year everyone's just kind of slowing down and it's deeply frustrating, you could see it as a blessing in disguise, that it is a forced break, so that you feel a bit rejuvenated come January, and then you hit the ground running again, right? For others of you, if there's been some sort of like financial concern, again, I don't feel like it's major. It doesn't affect, it may be something that you need to look into from a different perspective, perhaps get some financial advice, but it doesn't feel to me like it's going to harm you directly or your close loved ones. Again, it's a matter of perspective. So the encouragement here for December is, if you're feeling a little bit kind of stuck, know that nothing is ever stuck. There's always a choice in anything, and there's always a choice in how you perceive it. Okay, there's always a reason for something, and we may not see it yet, and sometimes it's due to our impatience, right? Because we may have that fire in our belly and we're raring to go, but you know, everything else is slowing down, and it's like, But that also could be in light of, you know, even a romantic partner, where perhaps there's been a lot of passion, and now in December things sort of slowed down, and you might be projecting thoughts into your head, fears into your head, that maybe this person isn't interested in you, and maybe they actually are, but they just cannot commit to the level you want to by this point. So you can apply it to a number of different ways, but the idea here is, in December, when everyone else slows down, see if you can relax into it, because ultimately you have fulfillment. Okay, you understood now over the course of the year what fulfillment actually means for you. And for you, what I'm sensing, it's like feeling proud of a job well done, feeling that you have been able to create a work-life balance where you can give back to your loved ones, right, energetically, romantically, whichever way you see fit, but that you've made time for them. Okay, and these things are very fulfilling for you, as long as you remember you give some time for yourself as well, right? So you have, working through the year, you're going to figure out what that means for you. You're certainly going to feel it in May, right? And again in August sometime as well, you're going to start to kind of go, yeah, that made me feel really good, so I want to double down on that, because that's what it's all about, because otherwise what's the point, right? So you're really kind of tweaking or perfecting what that means for you. Now, as we move into your cross of truth, it tells me where you're at, what you want, your favorable positions, challenges, and the outcome. So where you're at, and this will be like a repeating energy throughout the year, you'll see this play out in many different ways. But the foundation is, what do I have, and how do I make more out of what I have? Okay, we've got the Three of Pentacles, and Three of Pentacles talks about kind of tweaking something, going back to the drawing board, and making a little tweak here, a little tweak there, to perfect it, to make sure that it's the best of the best of the best that you could possibly do. Okay, so you may find over the course of a year you having to go back on something, because you feel like it's just not right, or someone's requesting that for you, saying, you know, it's just a little bit here please, a little bit there, and you're having to go back. Okay, but I feel like you're quite prepared to do so, you're happy to do so, you are you're a master of your craft, and you recognize that it's there's certain, it feels, I'm really getting the strong sense of you have a certain level of expertise, or it's integrity essentially is what it is. You have a certain level of integrity, and something needs to make sure that it's at that level or above. It cannot be below, right? Because it just won't fit with you. So there may be a little bit of returning back to that. There also may be a little bit of returning back home as well, to family home, for short visits as well. Now, the desire here is a Page of Swords. It's like, it feels to me that you're needing the confirmation, you're needing the correspondence, the communication, the technical aid to move forward many times throughout the course of the year. We've got the Page of Swords over here, okay? And it doesn't feel like it happens fast enough, right? But the desire is you wanting that correspondence, okay? For some of you, if you perhaps, for example, are an author, right, and you have submitted your book to multiple publications, and you're waiting, and you're just waiting for the green light, so you're wanting correspondence. This year it feels to me that again is going to be repeated, whereby in different areas of your life you just need someone to get back to you, you just need someone to respond to you. If you send a love message out, you don't want to hear soon, you don't want to wait forever, right? It's got that sort of energy. You want to make sure that your energy, which is air energy, right, which is communication and technology, that there is a flow, that it isn't kind of disjointed in any way. The beauty of it is that what works in your favor is temperance. So you're not impatient about it, okay? You know that there's things that happen in divine timing, and you recognize that sometimes you are perfectly equipped to temper yourself according to different people, adapt to many different people. You're able to be flexible, you're able to take your time on something, you're able to go back on something. And this temperance energy, it's a major arcane, it's a beautiful card. Also talks about divine timing, okay? So it feels like those things are working in your favor, and if you can remember that as well, that even if there are certain delays throughout the course of the year, it's in your highest interest, because it just means that the rest of the world hasn't caught up with you yet, okay? So allow them to do what they need to do so that things can come in perfect unison within your alignment of your path, okay? The challenge for the year ahead is this choice. We've got the Lovers card, okay? Now what the challenge means is this question about what does passion mean to you? Bringing me back down to this Fulfillment card, where I kept on saying you're still identifying it and tweaking and understanding at a much deeper level what fulfillment means to you. How does it look? How does it feel? How would I write it? You know, to really understand and to maybe pinpoint or write down moments where you did feel that, and what was that about, right? So understanding the difference between fulfillment and passion, and then also understanding what you're passionate about. Challenges will arise where you feel a little bit confused, or whether you feel like you have to make a choice, okay? And again, that's going to be repeating itself throughout the year, or maybe it's just one big one over the year, but it feels like a few times where you feel like, I don't want to make the choice. So there's a little bit of indecision over there, but as it's a major arcana with the Lovers card, it basically says a decision has to be made. You have to make the choice, right? Because even not making a choice is making a choice. So that is going to kind of be a place for you where you are stepping up into this Queen of Wands energy, because once you get really clear on what fulfillment means to you and what your passion means to you, it's going to be very easy to discern. It's going to be very easy to make choices, because you're no longer projecting yourself onto somebody else's perspective, and you're looking at what's actually right for you, okay? The outcome of all that is a Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles tells me that even while a lot is happening throughout the year, you've got fulfillment going on, you've got endings, you've got beginnings, you've got going back on things, you have everything it takes, you have all the skill set to balance it. And you've got your spinning plates, okay? Even if it's feeling like you are financially a bit struggling, maybe in March sometime, it doesn't seem like it's for long, right? But it feels like you can manage it. You can just about manage things. So you're managing your energy levels, you are managing the time you commit to various things, again, that work-life balance, right? And nothing's dropped yet. So anything that's really of high value to you, you're not going to lose, okay? You're going to be able to kind of keep it alive, particularly if you go through that phase in July about sort of sampling different things. You could even explore an avenue one way and then another one, and you may still keep it all alive, because until you are absolutely confident within yourself what your choices of passion are, okay? So you're kind of, you've got a lot of things up in the air, but it's exciting. The beauty of it is that with that balance, you're finding your internal balance, okay? So it's not too one way and it's not too the other way. It kind of revolves and flows. So it's very nice. So I'm going to just do an oracle card for you. Some advice from Spirit. Okay. What does Libra need to know, please, for 2024? Yeah, maybe you're working too hard. Your card is play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So, Spirit is basically asking you to remember that it's all about enjoyment. Remember to take a breather. Remember to, again, talking about this fulfillment energy of what does fulfillment mean to you? Well, maybe a gateway into figuring that out. You know, I mean, we all know what it is to some degree, but if you want to dig deeper to really get to the nugget of it, Spirit is saying, well, try having fun, try being in a celebrational vibration, because that's going to show you where your fulfillment lies. That's kind of like the doorway to recognizing what is. When things become too serious, it feels like a load on our shoulders, and gradually get heavier and heavier, and our vibrations go a little bit lower, right? So an idea here for 2024 is, while you are seeking fulfillment, try to enjoy the journey of it. And I know you could say that about anything, but it really is appropriate here as well. So that's what I have for you, Libra. I really hope it helped. Remember, you can return back to this video at any time and check on the month that you're at to see what's coming next, and to kind of equip yourself with the energies best way you can, having known what's coming your way. And if you are interested in the channel forecast for 2024, I channel a group of a seventh density collective called Anakasanja, and they have a forecast. We ask them what we can expect in 2024. So if you go onto this video, there should be a window that pops up that you can click on, and you can watch that forecast for the year. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're interested in a personal reading or a channeling, check out my website, loveitmore.com. Information is in the description box below. Have a fabulous year, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.